Wayan Eka Pratiwi. I am from the Postgraduate Learning Technology Study Program. Undiksha University of Education Bali, Indonesia. Thank you for the opportunity to present my article in the Asian Education Symposium 2020. Today I will present an article entitled The Effect of Project-Based Flipped Learning on High School Chemistry Students' Achievement. The problems of learning chemistry in high school are: first, the number of basic chemistry competencies is very large in a relatively short time. Second, a large amount of chemical matter consists of abstract concepts. Third, the readiness of students in learning is lacking so that students cannot actively participate in learning. Students' time at home is filled with playing gadgets without learning. Fourth, the lack of application of knowledge in solving the related problems studied. Fifth, chemistry learning in high school tends to use a direct instruction model in which teachers are more active in learning. Sixth, the learning strategies applied in chemistry learning have not facilitated students to practice critical thinking skills, the methods used are still conventional, teacher-centered learning, and the use of technology is lacking. As a result, the results of the 2019 high school level chemistry national exam obtained a low average score. Low national exam results indicate students know the concept but cannot apply it to solving questions or problems. These learning problems cannot be overcome by changing the learning time in class because it is in accordance with the applicable curriculum structure, but the learning model can be changed. The model needed is a model that is able to optimize face-to-face time and stimulate students to work on chemistry itself through real-world projects. The project-based flipped learning model is a learning model that combines the project-based learning model with the flipped classroom strategy. The similarities between the project-based flipped learning and direct flipped learning models are: before the class begins, learning in both models has the same activity, namely students watch videos given by the teacher at home related to the content being studied. The difference is when studying in class. In the project-based learning model, the main class, student works on the project according to the stages of project-based learning. Whereas in the direct flipped learning model, in main class, students are assisted by their teacher in solving questions related to the material. There are many studies in the field of science learning about the success of PJBFL in learning. This learning model is expected to have the same effect on chemistry learning achievement. This quasi-experimental research used a non-equivalent control group pre-test post-test design. The study population was 5 classes 11 MIPA SMA Netjury 1B Bandam. The research sample consisted of 2 classes. Learning achievement data were collected using an expanded multiple-choice test. The research data were analyzed descriptively and analysis of variance. Data on the mean score and standard deviation of student achievement from the post-test results, dependent variable, in the 2 groups of students who study with a project-based flipped learning model and groups of students who study with a direct flipped learning model, are presented as follows. A bar chart comparison of the average learning achievement scores of students with a project-based flipped learning model and direct-based flipped learning model are as follows. It can be seen that the students' achievement with the project-based flipped learning model is significantly different compared to the direct-based flipped learning model. Students' achievement is better in the project-based flipped learning model. The analysis showed that HOT was rejected. So there are significant differences in students' achievement between students who study with the project-based flipped learning model and those who study with direct-based flipped learning. Students' achievement in learning with project-based flipped learning model is significantly higher compared to those learning with direct flipped learning. The contribution of flipped learning in this study, both project-based flipped learning and direct flipped learning to learning achievement, is that before learning in class begins, students listen to acid-based material in Google Classroom by downloading the learning videos provided, listening to and studying the learning videos independently and record important things learned from the video. The activities of students at this stage are reading, listening, seeing pictures, diagrams, watching videos, films and seeing demonstrations. The contribution of flipped learning and student achievement will not cause a difference between the PJFBL and DFL models because the two groups of students receive the same treatment. The achievement of this stage is in accordance with Dale's cone of experience based on the activities carried out by the absorption of students, which is about 30% of the total knowledge to be achieved. However, the role of flipped learning here is very important, because with flipped learning the problem of limited learning time can be overcome. The next stage in project-based learning, students work on student worksheets in groups. Students must dig up information from the videos and literature they have and find solutions to problems given in the worksheets and groups. Activities at this stage are more discussion. According to Dale's cone of experience based on the activities carried out, the absorption of students is about 50% of the knowledge to be achieved. Whereas in DFL students do exercises with student worksheets carried out with teacher guidance. The teacher continuously checks understanding and provides feedback through class discussions. With this stage, students are not given the independence to learn to find their own knowledge. Students only accept the knowledge provided by their teacher without trying to dig from other sources. Based on this, the knowledge acquisition of students is not optimal. In the next stage, students in the project-based flipped learning model will work on real-world-based projects, while students in the direct flipped learning model will work on question exercises guided step by step by the teacher. This stage will have a different impact on student achievement. The achievement in the project-based flipped learning model by working on real-world-based learning projects in accordance with Dale's cone, students are able to absorb at least 90% of knowledge. This is supported by Sani, which states that project-based learning is applied to deepen the knowledge and skills obtained by making works or projects related to teaching materials and competencies that are expected to be possessed by students. In project-based flipped learning, students become active learners because they are facilitated with projects that are interesting, challenging, related to everyday life phenomena and relevant to problems in society. Whereas in learning with the direct flipped learning model, students are given training and application of concepts in the form of practice questions that are done independently. This learning is not able to encourage student achievement is due to this model the teacher is more active and minimizes the active involvement of students in learning. As a result, learning becomes more meaningful in learning with a project-based learning model so that student learning outcomes are better. The implementation of learning in both applications of this model utilizes worksheet as a learning medium. In the direct flip model, students are given the opportunity to work on worksheet with the concept of completion that they have previously obtained and are assisted step by step by the teacher. In simpler terms, it can be said that the knowledge of chemical concepts obtained by students is based on the teacher's explanation, reading books and examples given at the worksheet, which are then applied to solve problems related to everyday life. Whereas in the project-based flipped learning model, students are expected to be able to find their own knowledge to complete the project based on their experience or knowledge by collaborating with their friends accompanied by the teacher. In a learning process like this, it gives freedom to students to find and create work products by applying the knowledge they have acquired so that their mastery of knowledge is not only at the understanding stage but has entered a higher stage. This is supported by the opinion of Yao et al., who found that project-based learning had a positive impact on the learning procedures of students, was able to increase the capacity and knowledge of students, and increase the learning acquisition of students. Conclusions. There are significant differences students' achievement between students learn in the project-based flipped learning and direct flipped learning models. The students' achievement of them learn in the project-based flipped learning model is greater than them learn in the direct flipped learning model. The implication of his finding is that learning chemistry will be more meaningful if the teacher facilitates student learning with a project-based flipped learning model, especially in improving students' chemistry learning achievement. That's my presentation. Thank you for your attention.